so this is just back in after I've gone to bank after dying. I basically missed the button for my special action and just got killed by the insta-kill. So for this I've come back in with a slightly different inventory because I obviously didn't need like the Corromin switch or the poison potion or anything, but if you are coming into it in one run, just take as much out of your yak. I think on that run I didn't use any food up until Harakan, but just fill up your inventory with as much food as you can, take out the Ripper from your yak and summon it during the transition. It can be a bit annoying to get the scrolls into the Ripper if it's attacking something, because it'll just sort of cancel it every time you're trying to do it. So if you can, try and do it before the actual fight starts. You got, I think it's about 10-15 seconds before Zuk jumps in. So just get your Ripper spawned and take your adrenaline flask out of your yak as well. Okay, I'm gonna press play. So this is basically the same as normal mode, but he will use his special attacks every 2 auto attacks now. So it doesn't sound like much of a difference, but it does up the pace of the fight quite a bit. I'm guessing you probably know how to deal with each mechanic, but so the first one, the break beneath me, just freedom straight after it. The second one is it'll do a melee hit first and then 2 mage hits 1 tick later, so you just want to quickly pray flick to mage, back to melee, and then surge to get rid of the stacks that appear on your debuff bar. You want to surge across him. Basically, to clear the stacks you need to move 15 tiles, so if you surge across him and then run like 3 squares to one side and 2 squares back, or all 3 squares back, whatever, that'll get rid of it entirely. And then when you get a chance, just sip a super restore, so your health doesn't end up like, it'll take your max health down to like 4k by the end of the fight otherwise. And with that you can get 1 hit by the fire bombs in the last phase. So yeah. Right, I need to just go back a little bit there just to cover everything. After you've surged across a move, you'll do this tremble before me or something similar. The message changes, it cycles between like 3 different messages. When he uses that, wait just after the sword hits you, you can surge back, and then you shouldn't get any geysers spawning underneath you. It'll spawn a few around you and 1 directly underneath you, and if you surge before the sword hits the floor, the geyser will spawn where you've landed rather than where you were. So just make sure you surge a little bit later than you'd think you need to. If you do get hit by a geyser, if you've got the adrenaline, you may as well just cade, or if not, just use a reflect, because the next special is this typeless hit that he's about to do there. The Fool's Flame burns within me. That'll be a 5k typeless hit. So if you don't have a geyser on you, you can just resonance it, but if you do have the bleed from the geyser, just use reflect or barricade. Get as much damage in here as you can. Make sure if your freedom is off cooldown from the geysers, make sure you use anticipate a couple of auto attacks after the typeless hit, and then obviously you're into the section here with the DPS checks with the minions. So he will stun you, drag you to a spot in one of the 8 sections around the outside of the arena. You just want to make sure you either freedom or anticipate before it. You can switch to soul split if you're confident of getting into the sections quickly, and if you're a bit worried about getting trapped, just stick with Mage Spray, and then you can quickly use Devotion if you're a bit slow, get into the next minion. You will take like 3k hits otherwise. So you just want to get to each section. After you kill the minion, you can go to the middle ready, and then just surge to the next one. You don't really need to have like double surge or bladed die for it, as long as you position yourself in the right place and face diagonally or whatever to the next place. You can do it in one surge. And then after that you want to like get a new Vuln Bomb, Smoke Cloud, build some adrenaline, get ready to Sunshine. Just make sure you use the special action before he builds to full, because it insta-kills you as soon as the bar gets to full. It's not like with Telos where there's an animation and then an insta-kill. It will happen straight away. Yeah, same again. If you sort of run right into the corner, this sort of alternates between you being on a corner of that middle square or being on an edge of it. Like I'm on a corner now, and now it's in the line with an edge of it. Don't be shy to just, even though they don't have much health, it's better to like use an Omni Power and overkill it than end up stuck and getting killed by the flames. You can just move on and sort of kill it with the next minion if you are a bit too slow, but it can get very messy, and then the insta kill comes at you pretty quickly while you're trying to kill them then. So these are the same as the Igneous minions in the waves. You want to stun the meleeer, use a threshold on the ranger, and with the major just make sure you're right next to him. I think you can be one square outside of his shield, but I like to just make sure I'm inside it because I don't want to waste any time on this bit. So yeah, you may have to go through this cycle. It depends how neatly you do it. You may have to go through it 3 to 5 times, maybe more, but to be honest, as long as you do it correctly each time, you basically don't need any food for this part of it. Once you get practiced at it, the only bit that really tends to use food is Harakan, because obviously you've got lots of tentacles on you. I did mess up a bit there, but as long as you're fairly quick, you can recover from it. Just if you do surge in the wrong direction, I actually got signed them by just walking to the edge by accident. But yeah, if you surge in the wrong direction, just switch to Mage Spray and Devotion, and you won't take any damage at all from the flames. I think this is the last cycle. I do tend to, if I'm not sure that I can get him to 100k, I will slow down the DPS and do an extra cycle rather than risk not having any adrenaline for the minions and then getting killed on that phase. And then this final phase, you literally just run around in circles. It's kind of like doing the Legions, or Legion is. You just keep moving and do as much damage to the pillar as you can. If you wanted to be careful with it, I would say DPS it quite slowly, and then your resonance will come off cooldown for the big hit each time. If you want to get it done quicker, you can bring Disruption Shield with Spellbox Swap, or you can just use Barricade. It's possible to survive it with a Reflect as well, but you just got to make sure you eat to full before it, because it'll still hit you, I think 7.5k. But I've never actually tanked it with a Reflect, so it might even be higher than that. So when the health bar at the top goes down to 20k, the flames start coming out twice as quick, so just make sure you don't stall at all. And drink super energies if you need to, because I died on my first run here. I went to the pool on Anachronia, but if you're doing it all in one run, that won't last long enough, so just make sure you keep your energy up. It's probably best to just take a sip each time he does his big typeless hit. But yeah, that is it. That should get you through it with very minimal food usage. As long as I don't mess up, I basically don't need any food other than a little bit for Huracan now. But obviously it's best to take a yak when you're practicing it. And then I would say once you get it perfectly done, you could do it on a ripper using that tactic. But I'm not quite there myself yet, but yeah. Cool, thank you.